Hi, you guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week, another round, another paycheck in all of our pockets. Yes, I am still going to claim that for myself and for you. Welcome back to another episode of Life is a Trip podcast. I am your host, Andrea, or Drea if you continue to butcher the A-N of my goddamn name. Just it's still fucking y'all up, huh? It's still fucking y'all up in these streets. It's Andrea. That's it. Or Drea. But I prefer Andrea. But that's whatever. I hope you guys have been doing good. How you feel? You all right? Good. I ain't gonna keep y'all long this week because I'm not feeling too good. So we gonna be in and out today. We gonna be in and out. So I was just thinking, I saw this show, and this is going to be kind of a random episode. It's not necessarily on one particular topic, but this just happened to cross my mind as I was watching this show. And I was thinking about how over the years, my conflict resolution, as it pertains to a relationship, my conflict resolution skills have changed dramatically as I've gotten older. And whereas, in my relationships and even dating situations in my previous years have been, if something comes up or if we hit a rough patch in the road, 9 times out of 10, either you would get cut off because young Dre didn't have time for that shit, or I would just shut down. I would shut down, get quiet, silent treatment in full effect, and that would be that until you see the error of your ways and we come back around, talk about it, you apologize, and we move forward. Also, this is the thinking of a young Andrea. Like I said, this is, my thought process from yesteryear. As I've gotten older, I realize that I am willing to find out the root of whatever beef that I'm having at the moment with my partner and get to the root of it versus you deal with the problem, yes, but even better if you can find the root of the problem, because when you find the root of whatever problem that you guys are having, you can kind of see what you need to fix so that you don't stumble upon this same thing again in a different form. Does that make sense? Like if we're bickering every other day about, I don't know, dishes being in the sink, let's find the root of why dishes are always ending up in the sink so that it doesn't happen, so that we're not bickering. Like, what's setting you off about dishes being in the sink? Is it something from your past? Is it something that's triggering you once you see the dishes? Like, that's where I'm at in my level of communication with people. I want to find the root and the cause of what's making you angry. I want to find out what is triggering you and why is it triggering you that you are now lashing out at me, that I'm now lashing back out at you in retaliation, that we're not hearing and understanding each other because something is triggering you or triggering myself that I can't at the moment articulate, but it is triggering me and I'm reacting in a specific way because I am triggered. You know what I mean? Like, I'm there when it comes to my communication. So when I get into these little tiffs with people, it's like I'm trying not to revert back to my old ways where I'm either shutting down or I'm just like, fuck you mean, I'm out, and I'm cutting them out my life. And I'm trying to find out, okay, why do we feel this way right now? Why are we both reacting in this manner? What have I said that you are reacting to? Let me tell you what you've said that I'm reacting to. And if my partner is not listening, is not comprehending what I'm telling him, and he's still kind of in reactive mode, that's going to be an issue because I'm not there. You dealing with shit like Drea dealt with shit in her younger years. I'm not there anymore. I'm let's find a solution so we can get back to loving on each other. Let's get back to the good shit. Let's get back to the smiley, to the good energy, to the good vibrations in this relationship. I don't want to fight. Fighting to me doesn't add spice to a fucking relationship. I hear that a lot. Like, oh, I like a feisty woman. I like a man that puts me in my place. For what? Now, don't get me wrong. Andrea likes an assertive man that doesn't let me walk all over him. Because I'm going to try you. I'm going to try to walk all over you. If you allow me to do so, I'm going to know it's okay. And I'm going to always walk over you. All over you, I should say. Like, don't stand up, not stand up to me. Because I'm never disrespectful to anybody. I'm never like that. But I'm going to test to see where these boundaries are. And if there are no boundaries, the fuck, I'm going to run all over you. Don't do that. Don't let anybody run all over you. Stand up for yourself and enforce these boundaries that you need to have with everybody, including your significant other. I'm no different. Just because I have the sweetest face known to man and the sweetest disposition known to man, don't let me run all over you. And it's like, I feel like, when people tend to get into spats, their first instinct, especially early on in relationships, their first instinct is to run. Their first instinct is, this isn't working. I don't want to work out. I don't want to work this out, because us having static this early on is telling me you're not for me. It's telling me this relationship is doomed from the beginning because we're having static this early on. Where in reality, you're two separate human beings with two different ideas about life. And of course, you're going to cross paths at some point and you're not going to agree. It's all about how you find a happy medium, or it's all about how you agree to disagree and still be able to, converse on a level playing field after that. If y'all can't agree to disagree amicably, that's a fucking huge red flag. Should be a red flag to both of you guys. That conflict resolution style is not going to work with you, and vice versa. However you're trying to resolve conflict is not going to work with them either. And that's only going to continue as you guys continue on in your relationship. I guess my only, not advice even, because I don't necessarily have advice to give in this, because everybody's different. Find what works for you as far as how you resolve conflict with people, not just your significant other, but especially your significant other, because you're going to be in close quarters with them more often than anyone else. And it's a different type of conflict resolution. Shit can get different when you're in a relationship with someone versus your friend or your parent or your sibling even. You know what I mean? So it's like, find out the ways that they are able to resolve conflict and work around that. And the best way is for them to find out how you resolve conflict. I think it's the same thing, same concept as finding out each other's love languages. You have to cater to the other person and how they live their life, how they receive love, how they show love. They should show love based off of their partner's love language or whatever, but you have to learn that. So in learning someone else's love language, you have to learn also someone else's conflict resolution tactics. How do you resolve conflict? Are you one for arguing? Is that how you resolve conflict? Do you want to talk it out? And in talking it out, what's the purpose of talking it out for you? Do you want to talk it out so you can resolve it? Or do you just want to talk it out to get your side of the story out and there really is no resolution that you're looking for? All these questions need to be asked, I think, early on, because like I said, if it continues on, by the time you have your first kind of rough patch in your first fight, you're going to find out a fucking lot about this other person, because you may find out, like I said, how they resolve conflict is not jiving with how you resolve conflict. And if it's not nipped in the bud in the beginning, that shit is going to be, it's going to piss you guys off continuously. And what you're going to find yourself doing, either they are or you are, both of you guys at different times are going to be walking on eggshells. Who the fuck wants to be walking on eggshells because they don't want to set off their partner? What? Like that to me is a, you know how much anxiety I would have if I have to find myself walking on eggshells because I don't want to say the wrong thing that might set him off, that's going to make him mad, because he's not going to talk to me for 2 months. If I make him mad, he's going to keep bringing up shit from 2 months back. If I make him mad, it's like, what? Be an adult. Talk shit out. Y'all fucking like adults. Hello? Yeah, I said it. Y'all out here acting grown in every other way. Talk like adults. Resolve your conflict like adults would. And that's in a rational way. It just, that makes sense to me. I don't know what's being lost here. But yeah, I don't know. I find a lot of misses being made because people are not on the same page as far as how they resolve conflict. You have one that might be petty. You have one that may be shutting down. That's not going to work. When you have someone that's shut down and you have the other person that's being petty, what's being resolved in the middle? In the middle of those two situations, I don't hear any kind of talking going on. At some point, somebody's going to say something to the other person, because how long, honestly, can you go with the silent treatment and a petty reaction to said silent treatment? This shit is, I don't know, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of a lot of shit where you guys could resolve this days earlier by just a simple conversation and how to prevent it from happening the next time. Because there will be a next time. It's all about how you guys handle it and get over it is how, you can move forward. But if you guys let something sit and fester because both of you guys are digging in, that's not going to be conducive to the growth of your relationship and in any way, shape, or form. Y'all got to grow up. Plain and fucking simple. You gotta fucking grow up. You have to, at some point, be the bigger person, even if it takes you reaching out to them first. If you're right, 100% right in whatever spat that you guys just had, who fucking cares who's right at this point? You can express why you're angry. They can express why they're angry, and you guys make a decision to come to a happy medium. Even if it means at that moment you agree to disagree. You don't have to say you're right just to move over some shit and get over some shit. No, if they're absolutely wrong and you're right, then fine. That can be two things can be true here. They can be wrong and you can be right, but you also can agree to disagree because of that right there. You don't have to cave in or feel like you're giving in because you want the fight to be over. There's nothing worse than feeling like you have to cave in because you just don't want the thick tension in the air. I hate that, because it turns out at some point you're going to start resenting your partner because you feel like you have to always cave first. Nothing worse. So all in all, find out how your partner resolves conflict and try to meet them halfway and explain to them how you also resolve conflict. And I think a lot of shit will be cleared up before it actually starts if you guys understand that moving forward. All right. If you guys want to keep up with me online, you make sure you hit me up at Life is a Trip Pod on all social media. If you'd like to send me a topic, suggestion, comment, whatever, you can also email me at lifeisatrippod@gmail.com. If you'd like to see me record these episodes live in person on tape, if you will, you can become a patron at patreon.com/Life is a Trip, and you can join whatever tier you'd feel comfortable with. Outside of all that, do something today that your future self will be proud of you for, and that includes watching your fucking mouth and learning how your partner resolves conflict so you guys don't have beef in these streets, all right? Have a good week ahead, you guys, and I will talk to you next episode.